All right. Hey, people. Yes, you're right. I have not been in here in a very, very long time. That happens when you get busy at work. So, all right. So, I've got a weird topic today. I've kind of I've fallen down the foodie beauty rabbit hole. Is that scary? If y'all think that's scary, put a one. If you sometimes get lost down that rabbit hole, put a two. Because I like people, right? I find people and their choices very interesting. Um, yeah, it it's one of those situations. Her personality is so strong. You you just would not think she would get caught up in something like this, right? And so yeah, so I'm really yeah, I'm really worried about her. So okay. So here's what I'm going to talk about. Hey, critters, welcome. Hey, Muffin Tops, getting Nona, welcome. And Donna Burns, Princess Megan Elsa, welcome, Princess. Okay, let's see. Liked video. Okay, can y'all hear me? Oh, I wonder if I'm not joined. Yeah, I'm joined. Okay, so let me take the beautiful butterfly off the screen. Okay, now then, I want to share with you. Gosh, I hate where they made present. It should have just been share. Okay, present a message for all the desperate women out there. Now, this is kind of like your classic, reaction video format, correct? It's not really something that I do. But I'm legitimately concerned about Chantal. The I don't want to get into a lot of her personal stuff. People that are beezers, people that watch the reaction channels, everybody kind of they have this long relationship with Chantal, whether they think she's healthy or not, and that's not my concern. My concern is her getting involved in something that is so dangerous. So dangerous. And if you don't know, there's two issues. First of all, if you don't know that it's a thing, then you're wide open for that corruption or victimization, right? That's number one. So I have this hope that at the very least, my videos will kind of get her attention and maybe get her to look at some of this information from her own government and from well-respected scientists and from the U.S. government and from research projects that are published in peer-reviewed journals. I'm just trying to. I just want her, if she wants to do this thing by marrying a Syrian man she's never met, or perhaps she met in Cuba. We're not really sure on that. And then moving what she believes is Kuwait. And then her find herself in one of these notorious camps with female jihadis. This is going to be a disaster of epic proportions. That is if my worst fears are realized, correct? But what if my worst fears are not realized and it's just more of she's young and she wants to be in love and she's having Disney delusions of romance, and finds herself, in servitude for household help in Kuwait. Well, however it goes, at least hopefully she educated herself before making that long trip, across the pond. Now, she's sassy today. Okay, there's no doubt that this is a new iteration for Foodie Beauty. This is a new personality to try on, and I find it quite interesting because I think it would be consistent with having been love bombed, right? By a man who's building you up and telling you that you're everything you ever wanted to be, but possibly are not. So I don't know what Salah's I don't know what his motivation is, but I feel very concerned about Chantal's safety. That is the absolute truth. Um, I can tell you, I looked right before I came live. There are, according to the U.S. Hold on, let me see what it is. U.S. Department of Treasury. There are, and the date of this November 2021. This is after the great fall of ISIS, in Iraq, that Trump kind of came into office and they pretty well leveled them, cleared them out. There are 70 known recruiters in Kuwait. 70 that the U.S. government knows is there. They know who they are. They know they're there. And they know that they are recruiting Westerners for ISIS. 70 in Kuwait. And of that 70, the percentage of women is actually greater than the percentage of men. So you got 70 recruiters. They're all building up Westerners. And more than half of the ISIS recruitees are females. Now, how is that possible? Well, you can figure out how. Because of the love bombing. Because of the, oh, you're going to be my wife. Oh, I'm such a lucky man. I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to give you that, and I'm going to give. And it's so fun, and it's so exciting, and it's so interesting right up until the time you get off the plane in Syria or Iraq, wherever. And then you're in deep. At that point, you're done. Nobody's coming for you. Nobody's coming to help you. There's your parents, even if they're millionaires, your parents are not going to be able to get you out. Oh my God. I can't believe she's doing this. It's just incredible. Today, the U.S. Department of Treasury's Office of Foreign Asset Control designated 2 Turkey-based Islamic State of Iraq and Syria procurement agents and 4 ISIS-linked companies that were operating in Syria, Turkey, the Gulf, and Europe for providing critical financial and logical support to ISIS. Treasury is acting against an Afghanistan-based organization, which they called themselves the Nijat Social Welfare Organization, for using false charitable pretenses as a cover to facilitate the transfer of funds from countries into Afghanistan, Kuwait, and Iraq for ISIS. Following the highly successful operation against al-Baghdadi, the Trump administration resolved to completely destroy ISIS's remaining network of terror cells. And for all intent purposes, they really were effective. They just about completely destroyed ISIS' ability to transfer funds, the fundraising aspect of it, unless the money is getting hand carried. And even customs is looking for people that are traveling with large sums of cash money. And they all but decimated the fighters. Like ISIS has very few human beings actually fighting now. And of the known ISIS fighters in Iraq and Syria, more than half are women. It's crazy. It wasn't like that in the beginning, but after Trump came in and decimated, the all the fighters, then it became very they began to use men online, romancing and courting girls, and then once they get them over there, then they force them to fight or cut their heads off. Ariane Colson published a paper spring 2021 in a peer-reviewed journal coming out of the Netherlands. State-of-the-art radicalization of Western female migrants to ISIS-held territory, case study from the United Kingdom and the Netherlands. And this was actually a paper that was done through the Kuwait program of sciences. So there's real connections to Kuwait for this researcher. And let's see, according to Europol, 5,000 individuals from the European Union traveled to Syria and Iraq. Among them, the International Center for Counterterrorism indicated at that time that 17% of ISIS fighters were believed to be women. At this point now, it's up to something like 54, 56%. And the reason is because so many of the men got killed, and they're really focusing their recruitment now on women, Western women who are stupid. They want to fall in love, and they want to have, these haughty, good-looking guys. And we know that, these so-called ISIS fighters, we know that they put forth this air of strong masculine gender identity. They give the impression of being a bunch of alpha males. Well, I'm going to assume they are alpha males because, if they tell you to go get their dinner together and you say no, they'll cut your head off, literally. And no, Chantal, I'm not being racist. You've got to educate yourself. Don't let your tendency for narcissism override your good sense. Nothing will hurt you by educating yourself. And your own country has put out a great deal of information warning westernized women to be very careful of the Middle Eastern men, especially Syria and Iraq. Be very careful about forming these online relationships with them and then traveling to an Islamist country where you will then be at the mercy of whichever man it is that convinced you, hey, I'm just a nice guy, man. All right. Let's see, in one study, 550 total. Okay, so this was a study for IS controlled areas, Islamic State in Iraq and Syria controlled territory, looking at Western female migrants that were brought to the EU. So they're brought in, they were tricked into traveling to like the Netherlands or London, England, and then were enticed to travel to Iraq or Syria, usually under the guise of meeting the man's family. And there were, let's see, of the 550 total women that were in ISIS-controlled territory, of the 550, there were 70 German women. 9 of those 70 were schoolgirls under the age of 17. There were 63 French women. There were 60 British women, with 20 being schoolgirls under the age of 17. 30 Dutch women, and 14 Austrian women. There are clear implications that ISIS power of attraction did not resonate only in male combatants. Female migrants to ISIS occupied territory composed a significant part of the parties. Let us note the proclamation of the caliphate by Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi in June 2014 led to an increase in female departees from the EU. German authorities pointed to the rise from 15% to 36% in the first year after al-Baghdadi's call to join. The trend is even sharper now, going from 20% of women from the Netherlands to 50%. The United Kingdom is similar, with 145 of their women traveling to either Syria or Iraq. And they note in this paper that they intentionally do not count, they do not discuss the women that are no longer living. So they had more people, but they don't know if they're alive or dead. So to make that comment within the paper tells me there was a percentage of those that were being counted in the 550. There's clearly a high percentage of those that have lost their lives, would be my guess. It does say that female departees is a relatively new phenomenon in the study of foreign fighters, especially because ISIS is such a male-dominated group. Women foreign fighters belong to communist or left-wing groups that were involved in the Spanish Civil War. There was also a popular front from the liberation of Palestine, where the female fighters called themselves Black Widows, and they carried out suicide attacks in Chechnya. They also do what is called sexual jihad. Now, you guys probably aren't really familiar with that term, but I'll tell you, it's not all cool and cute and fun, like, it sounds. Basically, sexual jihad means that you will service any and all of the male combatants that are interested. It's not your choice. You're doing it for the caliphate. So it's basically just you get to be raped over and over and over again to help the fighters be very manly. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. Okay. Now, one of the first things that I wanted to say, I just want to kind of do that brief introduction that this information is not coming from me being a racist or in fact, I think I want to put this up right here. Yeah. This is not me being racist or having a problem with the Muslim religion. I am very specific. Whoops. I'm very specific about saying Islamist, which is different than just saying the Muslims. Hold on a second. Put a different thing up. Yeah, look at there, Chantal. Aren't they having fun? Don't those ladies look like they're having so much fun? This website is the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. What do you think, Chantal? Do you think that sounds like just racist people? Does that sound like people that, might not have any, credibility? Oh, that's so fun. Look isn't that pretty, Chantal? Look at there. In fact, that skin looks really white. And that lady's skin looks really, really white. Huh. What do you make of that? I heard you extolling the virtues of the hijab and the burqa. So take a good long look. Do you see the desperation in that little boy's eyes? You wouldn't even believe how empty the little girls look. So, oh, look, there's a little girl. They've already got her in one of those cute hijabs. Look at there. Isn't that cute, Chantal? Oh, wow. Look at that blonde hair. My goodness. What do you think that means? Um, I don't really know, Chantal, why you think these types of images are pretend, but I'm going to draw attention one more time for you. The Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. Look at the date of when this was written, Chantal. July the 14th, 2022. The Al Hol displacement camp in the city of Hasaka, Syria, witnessed the murders of 6 people in May alone. And that brings it up to a total of 24 murders since January of 22. These are women killing women. These are jihadi fighters. These are the ISIS wives. You see that, Chantal? ISIS wives. The ISIS wives come from more than 60 countries around the world. There are 70 ISIS recruiters, known ISIS recruiters living in Kuwait right now today. And that comes from the US government website. These are not people, Chantal, that are trying to trick you. These are not people that are basically racist. These are credible, connected people who understand the culture, and they are trying to save our Western women from being tricked into this type of life. Now, there is right now with Chantal, Foodie Beauty, there is right now a big, I don't know, let me just say it this way. Many of the reaction channels, the people that watch everything that she does, many of them keep saying, hey, your boyfriend is still on Tinder. Her Syrian boyfriend. He's still on Tinder. So he's still on Tinder. He's still collecting Western women to love bomb and to tell them how great life's going to be when they travel to come meet him. And they're going to find themselves on a battlefield. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Now this is her opening for her videos or her lives. I'm going to comment on this because, I think it's a little bit juvenile, right? I think it's a little bit kind of, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying that suggests, is she all caught up in this delusion of love, and he's feeding that, and it's causing her to make some silly, foolish choices. Now, one of the tactics that is used is that they find women who, and according to the article that was done by Ariane, many of the Western women are women that feel like they are not connected to their home culture. They're not really involved. They don't really have, connections to people. And as they develop these friendships with the Syrian or the ISIS recruiters, as they develop these friendships, then what ends up happening is the men will direct the woman to a mosque in their home area where they live. And then when they go to the mosque, the people at the mosque know that this is a target and that they should really groom them and make them feel welcomed and make them feel like they're part of the group so they can help to get them on that airplane and get them over into one of these countries where the man will then have total control of her. She is now openly saying she's getting married. Like at this point now, she's not wiggling. She's saying she's getting married. I'll tell you this, I would be much less worried if it was a situation where he was trying to come here, come to Canada. At least she's safe. But that is not what is happening. It has become very clear she is getting married and believes that she's going to go and live in Kuwait with him. She believes that. And she's supposedly moving into this mysterious mansion. Well, part of my question would want to be, Chantal, the people that you're moving into this mansion with, are these other Muslim converts? Are you moving into a mansion that's filled with Muslim women? Because I'm going to tell you something, Chantal, they don't typically waste a lot of luxury on women. That's not typical. And so if that's where you find yourself, is in a luxurious mansion with all of the Western accoutrements, and you're being convinced that this is how life is going to be in Kuwait, you're in trouble, I think. I think you need to get some guidance from somebody from your government that can give you some good information. I am not kidding. I am deeply concerned about this. All right, so let's just go on. She's fairly snarky and salty today. She's in a bad mood about this whole thing. People are really, giving her a hard time about what she's doing. And anyway, you'll see.
Hi, marhaba, assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to.
And marhaba, assalamu alaikum. It's just saying hello and God be with you, right? Yeah. All I got to say is inshallah. You make me in trouble,
Another
Foodie.
video. Yes, I have decided to do a video to talk a bit about, I guess, just what's on my mind. And I didn't really feel like going live. As you know, I'm kind of in weird moods.
Okay. So she used to go live like all the time, anytime, day or night, for hours and hours and hours on end. No privacy. It didn't matter what she was doing. She had a camera on, even like if she would go into the restroom. So now she says that since she's been with this man and she's wearing the hijab, now she says, oh, well, I'm only going to do videos, no lives. But that lasted only about a week. And now she's sneaking around doing lives and then deleting them. So she goes live, in the middle of the night, all the lights are off, and then she deletes them. I'm very concerned.
And sometimes I just feel like doing videos. So I'm just wanting to, I guess, talk about some, I don't know if it's like prejudices or what you would call it, but definitely misconceptions.
Now, my question, Chantal, is why are you calling them misconceptions? But as far as I can remember, you're a young woman who has lived in Canada your whole life, and you traveled to Cuba like a week ago. So how is it that you think that you have the experience or the authority to define that someone has a misconception or not? What if it's you that is being misled and being groomed, and you are actually being sold misconceptions? I have put on my channel articles, videos, documentaries. I've talked about my own personal experiences living there for many years. I'm not a reaction channel for you. I don't, follow you around and I'm really concerned about you. I'm really worried that you may be in something that might not be healthy or safe. And I think you should reach out to your government. I believe that in my heart. Before you get on an airplane, I think you need to reach out to your government, to immigration, and I think you need to give them the contact information on Salah and ask them if they know who he is, because they may know that he's a recruiter in Kuwait. And that gives you, if they say, oh yeah, we know exactly who this guy is, stay away from him, then do it. Stay away.
And this is going to sound super snotty, but I want
But say
every
it
woman
anyway.
out there to know
Yes.
that
Yeah. Go ahead.
if you are so desperate that you have to enter the DMs of somebody that I'm involved with or try to, I need you to know that any reply you get from anyone calling themselves Salah, like they even have the nerve to pretend to be that worthy.
Okay. Okay, I just want to recap that if people are trying to talk to Salah, and then they are desperate, right? It's desperation for a woman to send a text message to this guy, and you're not worthy to even talk to him because he is the bee's knees, right? Salah is the greatest thing to ever hit, the internet, and you are not worthy to text message with him. Desperation isn't trying to talk to someone in their direct messages. Desperation is being willing to put your life in your hands and get on an airplane to a central first line ISIS recruitment country without checking first with your immigration department to see if they know Salah, if they know who he is. That's desperation.
To even enter his DMs, any reply you get is fake because this man spends hours on video call with me every day.
Okay, I'm going to ask the question just because y'all don't have a microphone. But I know this is what you're thinking, so I'm just going to be the one that voices it, okay? Even though we're all having the same question in our mind. If he is spending hours on video calls with Chantal all day, every day, hours, when is he working? Exactly. Oh, his phone calls, his video calls with Chantal is his work. He's a recruiter after all, right? He gets paid to recruit. And my question would be, how many thousands of American dollars is he going to get when he delivers a Canadian female?
Shows me screenshots of every single person trying to follow him, has all comments turned off, is not accepting new friend requests anywhere. And his dating app that you're so hanging on to as proof that this man doesn't love me. Please, you're so gullible, just like you all accuse me of being.
Okay, I'm just going to point out the obvious, Chantal. You don't know him. You literally don't know him. You've never been on the same continent. So don't you feel like this level of entitlement and ownership and proprietary commitment is a little bit inflated for the actual facts of the situation? Wouldn't it be more rational? Wouldn't it be more indicative of true love if you met first a few times on neutral ground and just see if it was going to work out? I'm trying to imagine a scenario where simply talking to some person through a computer screen would be enough to create this intense level of ownership and commitment. It seems more like obsession than love. And it seems like the result of manipulation and love bombing than an authentic attachment that's growing from a healthy, committed place.
I'm sorry, or should I say, I apologize if I sound bitter. Yeah, I'm a
Salty.
little bitter.
She's
I'm trying to do
salty.
better for my life, and I have people everywhere trying to pull me back down into the stinky bog with them. You can stay there. I'm moving on up. I'm getting married. I'm going to live an amazing life. This move is happening. I'm glowing up in life behind the scenes. And from now on, I'm only allowing you whatever privacy I want to give you. And honestly, the way things are going to be going with my channel, probably not much.
Okay, now remember the article that I read to you guys from the University of Kuwait, talking about how the Trump administration had completely dismantled ISIS's capability for worldwide fundraising, and about the only way that they've really been able to get any money to the small cells that currently exist has been to actually just physically hand carry cash. I wonder how ISIS is doing with their YouTube channels and their AdSense payments. I wonder if what we're going to begin to see from Foodie Beauty's channel is propaganda about how great Syria is and how horrible the West is and how people should join the fight to liberate Iraq and Syria. That will be something to keep an eye on, because that may be one of the things that's so valuable about Chantal. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying she's not valuable as a human being. If I believe she wasn't valuable as a human being, I would not be making this video. I am legitimately urging her to go to her government immigration and speak to people. Give them his name and his contact information and find out if they know who he is. He may be on a no-fly list. We don't know. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't love you, and it doesn't mean that he's not legitimate. It means be a rational, logical, mature woman. Protect yourself, because once you get over there, your fate will be in his hands. That is an absolute certainty.
My privacy is something I have not valued my entire life. Do I regret that? I see people, desperate reaction channels and desperate women, trying to break this up, but it's not going to happen. Why would Salah, and listen carefully, ladies, why would Salah go for you girls when he has a Canadian queen?
Okay, I'm just going to ask the whole channel. Why would Salah go for other girls when he has a Canadian queen? I'm going to ask you guys, if you believe that that is a rational statement about a authentic relationship, put a 1. If that sounds like to you someone who is in a delusional state because they are being love bombed and manipulated, put a 2. Hey, Voight. I shot down the nephew of the king of Iran. He FaceTimed me from his uncle's palace. Wow. I believe you. I told him it can be crazy. It's very over the top, isn't it? I am a Canadian queen. And this is exactly the kind of propaganda, it's exactly the kind of Disney delusional crap that we Western women love. And it's coming from this handsome, Syrian man, alpha male. And if you're, if you don't have, if your awareness for danger and your natural orientation to detect danger or to keep yourself safe, you might buy into that hogwash, right? I mean, it's fun when it's happening, but you're not jumping on an airplane going to Syria, right? Yeah, Nala, you might, yeah, you may be right about that. I wondered about that. Yeah, if you're doing it because you've started dating somebody new and he's just sort of filling your head full of BS, then it's fun. You're laughing, you're enjoying it, you're giggling, you're telling your friends, you're having a good time with it, right? That is not what Chantal is doing. She is preparing to get on an airplane and go to an Islamist nation. Think about that. And this whole moving into a mansion, she's converting to Islam. If you're converting to Islam, why are you getting moved into a mansion? What? Oh, I know why. What's the word? People, what's the first rule of abuse? I'm just going to let y'all say it. Y'all type it in the chat because y'all know it. I've said it a million times. First rule of abuse. What is the first thing that the abuser must do in order for their abuse and manipulation to work? That's right. You got to be isolated, don't you? They have to isolate you away from people that love you. That's exactly right, rule breaker. They have to isolate you away from people that are not in the Disney delusion and that they have in their head still logical, rational thought. And they can say to their friend, they can say, Chantal, man, I love you. This guy seems a little over the top. Are you sure you're safe? Like, how do you know he's telling you the truth? Have you checked with your government? If she isolates away from those family members, those friends, even her online beezers, if people that would be the logic, rational balance, then he can't do the manipulation that he's going to need to do. So if you're a recruiter, wouldn't it serve you well to have a mansion where you've got some Muslimas that live there? You've got a mosque where the Muslimas can take Chantal into the female training for the mosque. Multiple things happen. The manipulation and the love bombing turns her, gives her temporary insanity. And she's been isolated away from logical, rational people to balance this. And then she's being included in this bigger group of women and given that critical sense of affiliation, be a belonging to a special group, right? And it's, you can hear it in her own words here. She's saying, he tells me everything. He's letting me know everything that you guys are doing. I'm his queen. Oh my goodness. It's such a dangerous situation.
Like me. You make no sense. Anyway, I'm just terribly bored with all the speculation I'm seeing. And I have to tell you, none of it's true. I want to just say, if I'm being scammed, why has he not made any videos to try to leech off my YouTube channel?
Well, Chantal, here's why. Because in your world, the AdSense money the super chats, the member money in your world, that's big time. Like you feel highly successful because of your channel. But if you're an ISIS recruiter with an operation set up to include grooming, manipulation at a mosque, housing you in a mansion with other women, putting you on an airplane to Syria, Kuwait, getting you into Iraq, the amount of money that you would be worth in that situation has zero to do with your YouTube money. Unless you're being targeted as a propaganda mouthpiece. I have seen professors, women professors from well-respected European universities that have been groomed and manipulated and began propagandizing from their classrooms and would lose their tenure, their teaching position. You may be in over your head, and because this is not really something you have experience with, it's fun. Your natural radar for potential danger, I think, is not up right now. If it really is legitimate, if he really is who and what he claims to be, if he legitimately has, chosen you, then how could it possibly hurt to go to immigration and find out if they know who he is and if it's safe for you to go and make this trip to Kuwait? If he's everything you believe he is, how would that hurt for you to go and double check and make sure that you're safe?
Why has he not been pushing me to do content? Why has he promised to take care of me as my husband? This is what a real
I think, I don't know, I could be wrong. That was either for Telfer or Yaba. I'm not sure which, or maybe both.
real man does. I have found myself a real man, yes, halfway across the world. It's a vast world. Why am I going to be closed-minded and limit myself to someone here?
That's not what people are concerned about. They don't care the nationality. They're very concerned that you're getting caught up in a recruitment circle. They're worried for your life, Chantal. You might want to relax and let yourself respond in a mature way and go and educate yourself about what you're getting into, instead of just pointing fingers, calling people names, making these childish claims that everybody wants to steal Salah from you. I would be willing to bet no one wants him. I would be willing to bet that everyone is trying to say to you, hey, this guy seems really dangerous. And I'm going to ask the question again. If he is spending all day, every day, hours upon hours upon hours in video calls with you day and night, well, when's he working? How's he going to take care of you? And have you ever seen the slums of Kuwait? Because the slums of Kuwait are pretty bad, but they ain't nothing compared to Syria and Iraq.
Salah is my soulmate. He happens to be in another country. So we're going to make it happen. I can. And I will. What other scams? He's using me for citizenship. Number one, we don't have green cards here. Sponsoring.
Okay, nobody said anything about green cards. I did a whole video on sponsorship and the financial obligations in Canada. No one's talking about that. In fact, I said it would actually be a major improvement. I would not make a single other video knowing he's coming to Canada and you're at least safe. I am acting from a sincere position of fear. I am deeply concerned about what this looks like.
A spouse, yes, it's a big process. It's not just quick and easy like that. Also, who says he's even coming here right now? This is the thing. I even saw a rumor that he has no family. How are people making these claims when they don't even know us? They don't know anything. And guess what? You're not going to. I have every right to my privacy. I'm taking back my privacy. You can put every video, every thumbnail, every picture of me you want of my past.
Yep.
And that hasn't scared him away. He knows who I am. He knows I'm Foodie Beauty. And he loves me for me.
Yep.
As a person, I have a lot to offer. Just because I pick my nose in old videos means I'm not worthy of love. Okay. Or because I went through a hard time and I was in an abusive relationship and resorted to drugs.
Okay. So I'm a little confused about that statement. And maybe she's talking about something I just don't know about, but I think that the very first time that she, like when she met the, what's the Egyptian's name? Nader. When she met Nader, she was on camera doing drugs with him like that day. So I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know what does she mean? She was in an abusive relationship and that's when she started using drugs. No, the day she met him, she got messed up. So I don't know what that part, that doesn't seem accurate, but maybe it was maybe she's referring to something before I was watching her.
To cope with things. So that's going to be rubbed in my face over and over. Nice try, but no, I don't live in the past. You guys do. I'm moving forward, and so are my beezers, my loyal beezers, and that's all that matters. And the rest, well, whatever. Also, I would like everyone to reach out to people who are having their names mispronounced over and over. Go ask them if that matters.
I think what she's referring to there, I think there's some people that are calling her boyfriend, they're calling him Salad instead of Salah. It's a hard H, Salah. Okay. All right. So all, kind of not joking. I'm not joking. I'm deeply concerned. I'm legitimately worried. And the only thing, the one express goal is I'm hoping that there'll be enough information, good information from reliable sources that will make her realize that she really needs to get some kind of guidance from her government before she does this thing. I'm telling you, it just nothing would make me feel comfortable at this point about the story that she's told. Nothing would make me comfortable getting on a plane and meeting some Syrian man in Kuwait. Nothing. Especially a Syrian man who told me I was his queen. I'd be like, okay, Buster. I didn't just fall off a turnip truck, damn it. Okay. I'm from the South. I know a pile of horse shit when I hear it, right? Okay. Sorry, living a spooning's life. What? Zelda? I had to delete your post. I agree, but I worry about its content causing problems for Jot. She has a few bad trolls. Do I have trolls? Yeah, but I have great people like Zelda too. She is very determined, Sundown. She is very determined. She really, really, really likes Salah. Um, but I really wish one of her Beezer's phone autocorrected to salad. Yeah, I think she's really the trolls are using the word salad to call, and I think that's what she meant, showing mispronouncing names. But it's they're being fun, right? So anyway, just I just wish that if he's really everything that he is supposed to be, then how does it hurt to reach out and find out, right? How does that hurt? The guy in Cuba said she was beautiful and he got her starfish and a laptop. I know. I know. I heard it. It's very sad. And wasn't there like an incredible amount of drinking? Didn't she go live and she was drunk? Um, no amount of coddling has ever stopped her from making insane life decisions. I have to admit, I'm not a long time watcher. I'm a sporadic watcher, right? Uh, I'll watch for a couple of days and then I'll get busy in real life, and then I may not look again for a couple of months. And it just kind of depends. And then I was shocked, I guess last week or 2 weeks ago, I was shocked when one of her videos came up as a recommended video and she's in a hijab and I'm like, oh my God, what has she done now? And now I'm just right, sub. Yeah. Now I'm just so concerned. So concerned. She will never listen. She would drop her family, cats, and best friends for a man. Ugh, so sad. Well, I'm gonna tell you, Kelly, she may be biting off more than she can chew this go around. She may be about to step off right in the big pile of it. You know what I mean? So all you can do is put the information out there, and if she's not willing to educate herself, take steps to make sure that she's safe. She should know exactly where the American embassy is, and the very first place, the moment she lands, she should go to the embassy and register, hey, I'm in Kuwait. That should be her very first stop, and I bet no one has said a single word to her about that. I'm the one who screenshotted his profile and his message to me. He sent me the first a rose emoji. Wow. So Ash, um, did you get the feeling? Oh, you didn't really talk to him. Okay, didn't respond. You know what? Y'all know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he's talking to 20 women. You know what I mean? I think he's talking to so many of them, all with the same message of, I got to get somebody, one of them, to get on a plane and come over here. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Do you think, let me ask you this, Ash, do you think he knows Nader? Do you think they're friends? Oh yeah, Zelda. You're exactly right. Yep. It's fairly brutal. They all look similar in a war zone. Yeah, they do. Yeah, I don't know. It's a sad, really. Now I will say this too. If he's on the up and up and he's a good guy and he's, authentic, then I totally owe 10 million apologies. A visa can take up to 90 days. But I figured that they were already talking a long time before she ever started wearing the hijab. I know, Diane, it's terrifying. Oh, look, Taj talked to him. Tell us about him, Taji. I think he is too, Ash. Absolutely. And I think this whole mansion move, that's to isolate her further from people that would be rational and logical and try to, kind of slow this down a little bit. That's right. Me too, Lass. Totally. No way would I be going over to an Islamic country with someone I didn't know. She can get a visa online in 6 to 8 days. You all know nothing, and it's so funny. Laughing my ass off. Well, look, I don't know if you're the real Foodie Beauty or not, but I will tell you this, Foodie. When you go back and watch this whole video, um, I am just advocating for you to educate yourself and to go to your immigration department and ask them, take his photograph and his information, his contact information, and ask them if they know of him. Because in Kuwait right now today, there are 70 known ISIS recruiters in Kuwait. So if it's true love, why wouldn't you go and just check it out? Make sure that you're safe. They've been talking a long time, he told me. I figured they did. By the time she started wearing the hijab, she'd already been sucked into the madness. Yes, that's the real Foodie Beauty. John, is there any way, what is that? Hold on. Is there any way you can convince her to stay in touch with you to help her if things get bad for her? No, because there is no help, Zelda. It won't matter who, it won't make any difference. Even the Canadian embassy won't be able to help her. If she goes over there and marries him, and gives up her passport, even the embassy won't be able to do a thing. She will be his property, period. There'll be no helping. He said he's an escort. It's so ridiculous. He has tons of profiles. Oh my goodness. You need to be careful, Chantal. You need to be careful. The scammer guy story on Netflix. Eye open, he's still at it. There are, oh my God. This is a real thing, Chantal. You have got to go to your immigration department and talk to them and get good information. You're about to jump from the frying pan into the fire in a way that is going to leave you reeling. Oh, no way, see my tutu. No. Oh my God, no. No, 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 no. I'll gladly talk to you in private if you wish. I guarantee none of my receipts were photoshopped or even edited. Foodie Beauty, Ash is trying to help you. And if it's true that you're moving to this mansion that you keep alluding to, my question for you is, are you moving into a mansion with a bunch of, Muslimas? Is that who lives there? And have they directed you to a mosque? And are you going through classes? And I believe you are. You may be caught up in something really bad. If they would be willing to house you before getting you on an airplane, by housing you and showing you all this luxury and all this money and all this great way of living and making you a part of their social group, that makes you feel more connected to them and their belief system than to your own country of origin. It makes it easier for you to get on an airplane and go wherever they're telling you to go. What I can promise you, you are not going to go to Kuwait and live out the rest of your days in the lap of luxury. That's not going to happen. Opinions are welcomed as long as they are respectful. Thank you, Muffin. Are you doing this to avoid the new carbon tax you have to pay in Canada? No, no politics. No politics. If he is legitimate, why would it be a bad thing to check him out further? You wouldn't lose anything. People are genuinely worried about you. I agree, GL. I've seen a few people being rude and snarky. I've seen that, but for the most part, people have really just been very concerned. Well, Guile, okay, so I'm not sure I believe that. It, it does look like the recruiters are really handsome, kind of like alpha male types, because that's attracting the women. Yeah, the romance scams have gotten to be really, really bad. The mansion is definitely connected. What do you know about the mansion, Taji? Background checks are a thing for her. I hate someone. Oh, yeah, you absolutely need she's got to protect herself. Of course, Mary. Absolutely. But that won't be what he will say. She'll tell him and then he will say, "Oh, you don't love me," and then he won't talk to her a few days and make her uncomfortable and scared, and then she's right back to doing whatever he tells her to do. I did a term paper back in 2000 on Islamic countries. Whoops. Um, for an ancient history class. No way would I ever go over there with a man I met on the internet. No. And I told y'all, I guess last week, I mean, we were living there. My husband's from, we're all Texas, looking like we're Americans, talking, like Americans, got our blue passport. And me and my daughter, we had made the trip so many times. She could go through the airport, knew exactly what to do. She had done it so many times. And this one trip, and I don't know why it was any different than any other, but this one trip, we get pulled out of the line where they check your passports just before you get back into the terminal. We got pulled out. I was terrified. We sat there for hours before it all finally got worked out and they let us go. But I guarantee you that the guy that did it probably thought that I was trying to run off, with some Egyptian man's daughter. I guarantee you. They gave her alcohol, so they are not Muslim. Ha 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 ha. Is that what you think, Liam? That is not true, is it? No, no, no. If you are a recruiter, if you are operating in a terrorist cell in another country, then you are actually trained to live in the customs and the culture so that people don't question who you are. And so, remember the 9/11 hijackers? What did they do the night before? Or I guess it was the week before. They were at a strip club putting money in strippers' G-strings and getting drunker than a Cooter Brown. No, no. And it's just like with the mansion. If it is part of an organized ring, it'll be this swanky place with eider down quilts and fluffy mattresses and gilded furniture with down cushions. And then when you get there, your brain cannot conceive of the level of poverty. And women certainly are not provided luxuries. The men get a lot of luxuries, but it's the women's job to serve you. You will be serving the men. Thank you, Teresa. I'm not trolling. That's not even funny trolling. Yeah, I don't think Ash is trolling at all. Greeny bluish, welcome. As the YouTube turns like sand through an hourglass. I smell a dangerous scam artist. I do too. YouTube turns. I am legitimately concerned about Foodie Beauty. Legitimately concerned. Yep. It's not looking good. I really thought it was more of him wanting a sponsor to come into Canada to live in the West. That's really kind of what I immediately thought. But as this has grown, it doesn't sound good. I'm really interested in your perspective. It makes me thankful I live in the US. Yeah, I mean, that's the other part of it. There's lots of great countries. I completely loved living in Egypt, and I would go back there again. I mean, I loved it. But when you consider the pipeline network, so ISIS in Syria, that is where the majority of the female jihadis are. And they are female jihadis because they're being convinced, they are groomed with romance by these alpha males and promised all of these great things. And then when they get there, they find themselves wrapped up in a black burqa and being taught how to shoot a machine gun. One of the things that would make Foodie Beauty valuable is that she's got an established YouTube social media channel. That might make her valuable in terms of getting propaganda out. I'm just guessing, I'm just thinking about the situation in which she finds herself. But there's all kinds of warnings about Kuwait being part of the trafficking networks, people being sold into what amounts to sharecropper slavery type, having to work off by working cleaning houses and things like that. Did you see the movie Not Without My Daughter? Absolutely, and that's a really good movie that she could watch to get an idea. Chantal, none of us want him. We are really concerned for your safety, and my gut says if you go over there, we will never see or hear from you again. Oh no, sushi. No, 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 no. It's all over the place. All over the place. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Nancy. Yep. It is a huge concern. I had, Egypt is a progressive country, and they're not an Islamist nation. They have a government that's not it's secular, it's not guided um strictly by religious principles. There is Sharia law, there's Sharia council there. 93% of the country is Muslim. But Islamist is different than Muslim, right? It's sort of like the difference between being Methodist and Ku Klux Klan, skinhead, white supremacy. So Egypt's super progressive, it's secular, it's safe for all intent and purposes, and yet you got this guy who felt perfectly entitled to pull me out of a line. I've got very blue eyes and blonde hair, but my daughter, she's tan and blonde hair, but really dark brown eyes. And so I'm sure that he looked and he thought, I wonder if that's an Egyptian child. Um, and it was terrifying. And that's one of the most progressive countries in the Middle East. So I wouldn't even travel to Syria. Like I wouldn't even make that trip for like a weekend with a man I knew or with a man that I met on the internet. Under no circumstances at all, being American, would I set my foot into Syria or Iraq. I wouldn't do it. It's not safe. Now she's going to say, oh, but we're going to Kuwait. But Kuwait is a pipeline country. And there's all kinds of warnings from the State Department about, traveling in Kuwait because of the ISIS stuff. Taji says that Salah says that he has complete control over Chantal. That's terrifying. I appreciate you being legitimately concerned about a fellow human being. It's rare, so I embrace it. Thank you so much. That was very kind. Very kind of you, Voight. All right. Maybe brainwash. I don't know. I don't know that it has much utility to, be nasty about it. But brainwashing's kind of dark and scary, But I mean, we've all experienced love bombing, right? Let's be honest. I mean, if you're a woman at some point in your life, you've had some guy really go over the top, with telling you that you're this Canadian queen. It can be pretty powerful, but I'm going to tell you what's even more powerful than all of these words of love. It would be more powerful, in my opinion, to be moved into a mansion with a bunch of young women who welcome you in and start treating you like you're a long lost sister. And you suddenly are this valuable member of a large group of people. That is very powerful. It's a psychological term. We call it affiliation. And affiliation is critical to good mental health. Being a part of something bigger than you. It's critical. Lola, what about Cuba rage? At this point, she's self-destructive. Family needs an intervention with her. Yeah, I don't know anything. I don't know anything about her family. I don't know anything about her friendship groups. Her roommate Pete is moving with her. So they're both going to the mansion. Ah, interesting. What does Pete think of Salah? I don't know, Shell Bell. That's what we're trying to find out. I believe that rage was substance and alcohol induced. I saw a hurt and emotionally beat up woman. She apologized. Okay. It's all an act. Pete wants nothing to do with Salah. It's not a real mansion, just a house that she's renting. Okay. That's better. Great way to support the channel or through membership, super stickers, and super chat. Thank you, Muffin. She's a shell as a profile photo calling her queen. What's enough to get what he wants? Trusting strangers on the internet. I think that is a really good question as the YouTube turns. YouTube said, when did we start trusting strangers on the internet? I will tell you this. I was in complete and total shock at the trolls on YouTube. So when I started my channel, of course, I didn't have any trouble with trolls because I didn't have any subscribers. But then as the channel began to grow, then I began getting just really awful messages. I was in shock at how strangers would act, just I think probably because they're kind of behind that veil of anonymity, right? Can you imagine playing Russian roulette with meeting a guy in an Islamic nation? It just, people should not trust who you meet on the internet. I promise you, there are some disturbed people out there. Truly. Will she be able to drive her camel? No, Zelda, not without permission from the man. I've been an off and on again beezer. Well, Lola, so as a sporadic beezer, how are you feeling about this whole thing? Does anyone know if the mansion is in Ontario or Quebec? You never know who is hiding behind a keyboard. Absolutely agree, Zelda. 100%. I hope she does too, Lass. The heat is going to kill her. Diane, look, we had days, like a solid week, where it was like 106 degrees. Yeah, the heat's going to kill her, man. It's going to kill her. And the flies, you guys can't, your brain cannot conceive of the number of flies that live in the desert. My husband and I used to just marvel, and we would just be like, what are they living on? Like, how do you get these thousands and thousands of flies in the damn desert? There's not even any like broken down vegetation, but somehow they live off of something out there. And when you pull the truck up and you get out, they just descend on you. It's like they just have a sensor and they come for you. It's terrible. It's really terrible. True that, Sue. It's in okay, so Taji says that the mansion is in Montreal. I saw someone, maybe it was Ash's post, that they didn't even have their profile set to international, yet still matched, which meant he set his to Canada, not international. I don't think I know what that means. I saw someone did not have the profile set in. So you're talking about like the dating profile, Faith? So he's claiming to live in Canada? I hope she does too, Teresa. I'm really, really worried about her. His Tinder profile is set to Canada. So he is intentionally seeking out a Canadian woman. He set it to Ottawa. Oh, now he's got his profile set to Toronto. Wow. Well, she claims allegedly, she claims that people are dumb, prejudiced, ill-informed, assumptions based on bad information. It's all that everybody else is wrong and that she knows what she's talking about. But I don't know how many people I know would start dating a man and put on a hijab and talk about the virtues of a burqa just because he was Syrian. Like I think that is an indication that she's not being realistic about the relationship. That would be interesting, Voight. You know what, C mine too. If we're going to be perfectly honest here, let me tell you what. I would probably not be willing to meet somebody like in downtown Houston at night to go to dinner with someone that I met online. If there was someone that I had met online and we had been friends for like years, then maybe I'd meet them like at a Starbucks in the middle of the day, right? No. I watched Dahmer, damn it. How many of you guys watch Dahmer? There are sick people in the world. Am I right? No, you will not catch me meeting someone from online, even, 50 miles up the road. No. And here she is talking about going to Kuwait. My God. I think he knows Natter. I actually said that. I think he and Natter are working together and they're going to screw her over. Yep. I'm with you, Stella. Totally with you on that. Yep. Ted Bundy was a charming, educated, and handsome man. There you go. What about the medical student? Remember him? Can't think of his name right now, but he would. There you go. Were you salad browsing on Tinder? Don't forget Craigslist killer. That's what I'm talking about, Ceresia. That's the one. Yeah, blonde head, handsome kid, going to be a surgeon, got a surgical residency. Wow, right? I know. I'm same, Yvette. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you what I thought, Yvette. When they started showing the dad and he was getting roadkill so that they could, dissect it. And I thought to myself, with the dad, what did you think was gonna happen? You got your little kid, and instead of going out and throwing the baseball with him, you're letting him mutilate, animal corpses. What'd you think was gonna happen? Oh, yeah, I saw that, Sarah. Yeah. Okay, everybody. So, his English is not very good at all. Oh, that's so scary. There are plenty of charmers out there who lure vulnerable people all the time. I've been in a couple of abusive relationships and they started out very charming. Absolutely green bluish. Um, they start out charming. They have to isolate you from the people in your life that would try to talk sense into you. While they're isolating you, they are love bombing you. And then once they are finally successful to get you separated from any kind of emotional support, whether it's family or friends or work, once you're isolated, then the abuse starts. And it's like they all read the same playbook. They all do it exactly the same way. It's really quite frightening. I've been quite lucky on dating sites. No horror stories. I'm 5'11", former Army. I lost it. Former Army sergeant. They're more scared of me. There you go, Voight. Own it. Filters work over time. There's enough footage of her for them to see she's massive and unable to use her for anything they typically would with a trafficked woman. Well, um, there you've got to realize, you got to think about if they're recruiting specifically for this whole ridiculous ISIS thing. um the YouTube channel could be valuable, could come in handy. um Being used to traffic money or coins or whatever through airports, that could work. They're not a dumb group of people. They recognize they need support, and currently, according to US government, they're currently trying to rebuild their financial, networks. He started flirting with me, asking me, what do I do for a living? Do I have money? See, Taj, and no matter what you want to say about Foodie Beauty, she's making bank. Her YouTube channel, she's making a real live paycheck. You know what I mean? Well, I'm sure it's frustrating, Kaya. He will be using her financially, no doubt. That I know, right? I mean, I think her YouTube channel would be valuable. I really do. Like I said, I've seen a couple of college professors, women that are educated, intelligent, and they were lonely, and they got sucked into the madness to the point that they took to publicly to social media. They had credibility as researchers, and they began with the Islamic propaganda and lost their jobs and lost everything. Exactly, Zelda. It's a lot harder to do background checks on people in Canada. I don't know. I don't know. Hope you are recovering well. How are you feeling, Snow Lion? He is isolating her and depriving her from her revenue and slowly her agency. Yeah, Ash, this video that she put up today, did y'all feel like it was a almost like it was a totally different person? I felt like she was so different in this video. How did he Taj, how did he get rid of her mods? So he's like unmodding these people? Oh, you've seen this before, Shell? She's trying to be modest. She made him a mod. She is a completely different person on recorded videos. She said so herself. So I guess if she's live, then she's not able to really filter. Wow. He banned someone for saying underwear? Why? She's successful and her YouTube content is great. She's so self-centered and she thinks all they wants to sabotage her pitiful life. No, yeah, I that's another point that I really disagree with. I've heard her say multiple times that she has this belief that all these people, all of her subscribers and the people that watch her channel, that they're intentionally, they want to make her not enjoy her life, that they're intentionally wanting this not to work out, right? I've heard her say that, but I don't think that's what it is. I think people are legitimately skeptical, and in a healthy way. I think people are legitimately skeptical, and they're asking her to be safe and to educate herself before making this move because it could be drastic. Yeah, she apparently has alopecia and she shaved her head thinking that she was going to be able to wear wigs. And then I think the wigs were uncomfortable, right? And so then she started wearing these little beanies and now she's in a hijab. And that could be another factor that we just haven't considered. Maybe she likes the hijab as opposed to trying to wear a wig. Maybe that feels better. Yeah, I think there's some of those bluish. I think there's some of those. And I don't you think all believe it or not, I too have haters. Yes, it's true. And mid snaps, okay, now mid snaps, that is a perspective that hasn't really been heard tonight. But mid snap says she's making the whole thing up and it's not real. That this whole thing is just a storyline for views. I don't know. What do y'all think about that? Do you think she would have the capacity to tell such a lie? Do you think she could do that? Oh, I didn't know that, Blonde. If the relationship will work, it will work in her own town. Why do you have to go to Kuwait? I agreed, 100%. Yep. it was common for Egypt. You would meet people where, like, the guy had come to a Western university to get educated, a doctor or engineer, whatever, had come to the United States or Canada, and gotten, or Germany, had gotten educated and married a Western woman, and they would even like live in the West for a while and have kids even, right? And then the husband would be like, well, we're going to travel back to my home and meet my family. And then once they would get there, then it was all over. They couldn't leave. And it it was explained to me a couple of times. I don't know that, I mean, this is just what I was told. I don't have any way of knowing if it's true or not. But the explanation that I got by a couple of different people for why these men would come and live in the West, marry a Western woman, have children that were, Westernized, citizens of Canada or the US or whatever, and then why the men would take them and go back to their country for the rest of their lives. And the explanation had something to do with like the Islamic belief that your children needed to be raised in the Islamic culture. Like I said, I don't know, if that's true, but I do know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I met women that were absolutely Western, who were fully covered in burqa and living over, in Egypt. So I know that is true. It makes good content for a channel. It gets her lots of attention. Yeah, there are people that are saying that it's not real and it's all being done. But then you got Taji here, and Taji is in contact with Salah. She just told this chat that she already got a visa and got in. Foodie Beauty said that in our chat. I didn't see it. Pete is probably helping her with the storyline. Chantal, if you want to come up on panel and have a conversation, we can. Do you want a link? I promise you'll be treated with respect. She was in this chat. She's already got the visa and got it in 24 hours. How do you get a visa to Kuwait in only 24 hours? Well, maybe going over there, but not, he wouldn't be able to get one coming here. Not like that. Not that fast. My husband knows all of this stuff. Hoorah. I saw that she said she has the visa. Could you give just a brief background of your time spent in the Middle East? I'm new to your channel. I lived over there for like 6-7 years in Egypt. Loved it. Loved the Egyptian people. The extremists are scary, just like any extremist. If you ran across a skinhead, Ku Klux Klan in the United States, that's scary to be confronted with any type of extremist, thing. But the majority of the people I met in Egypt were amazing, fun, interesting, cool. But hey, I'm gonna tell you straight up, they have definitely live a different culture than we do, and women definitely do not have the freedom that Western women do. They are property out in the community. They have, if they're, I guess you could say, if they're married to a kind person, they are given a lot of power within their home, but not out in the community. I think Pete is completely over Chantal. He makes fun of her all the time and can't lie to save his life. So he's always putting his foot in it. Lots of ladies talk to Salah. What would Salah be willing to put himself like that? There are really good Muslims out there and you can trust them, but I would not trust them to leave the country. Yeah, and there's also a difference between there's a clear difference between Muslim and Islamist. And they will tell you that there were many, many, many Egyptians. I mean, the country's 93% Muslim, but they will tell you that the Muslim Brotherhood, which are the Islamists, they're bad people. They'll tell you the Muslims in Egypt will tell you that the Muslim Brotherhood are bad people. Muslim Brotherhood came about from the prisons of Egypt back in the 1920s. They use a lot of manipulation, like bringing in healthcare to the slums around Cairo. They provide healthcare, food, and in exchange, the families give up their young people to the cause. I think Salah, or whatever the scammer is, doesn't realize the exposure he'd get from Foodie Beauty, which is why he's limiting her live streams. You think that's why he's limiting the live streams? I think he's limiting them because he's taking control of her mind. I think he's asserting his dominance. That right, Snow Lion? Absolutely. It is not an unusual thing for men to throw acid on the faces of women. If it's if it's a wife, a sister. Hold on a minute. Um, uh, or it could be that there's a woman behaving in a shameful way. The stories are out there. The pictures are out there. Look it up. It's there. Yeah, Charlie's mom. I agree, but there's some real need. One is, like I said, the propaganda machine and the fundraising both were badly hurt by Trump. And so according to the US government, that's a big focus right now. They're trying to rebuild. How does she plan to live without her gummies? That is a big question, Kate. I don't know how she plans on doing that. I'm going to be pretty convinced that in Syria, she's going to have a hard time finding her substances. I bet money. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. It may be Faith. He's asserting total control. I think so, Taj. Yeah. 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 Anyway, I hope she will take the opportunity to just educate herself and see if there might be a different way for this so-called love relationship to move forward that wouldn't include finding herself in an Islamic country with a man that she met on the internet. I mean, why would it hurt if he came to Canada? At least she's safe, right? So, I don't know. Shisha will have to do. Yeah, but shisha's just tobacco. It's not psychotropic. She's not though, lass. She is leaning way into it. I know, Siren Song. The allure of romance and the allure of affiliation, it's very strong. It's very strong. He's using her for sponsorship to Canada. It's that simple. He has no money. Yeah, I did a video on the whole sponsorship thing and what that means. For it, even so, if he comes, if they marry and then ultimately they decide to come live in Canada, and she will have to sponsor him. And even if they get divorced, even if the relationship ends, she will have to fully support him for 3 years. That is, I don't know, Chantal. How many relationships, Chantal, have you had that lasted 3 years? Does anybody know? I know we got lots of beezers in here tonight. How many relationships has she had that lasted more than 3 years? None. Right? Two. There's been two. Oh wow. Okay, so well, Pete's, yeah, so I guess Pete's originally was like a boyfriend, and now he's like a best friend, like a brother. No, no, I think I think she's already going through the process of conversion. Abu Omar, that just means the father. He was shocked that you found him. And BB, is BB Natter, or is that a different person? Pete and Chantal were going to get married? Really? What happened? Why didn't they get married? Ash has a question. I don't see your question. Oh, wait. Would you post Taji's screenshots if she sent them to you? Sure, if they're not, as long as they're not like obscene. BB is African. She did not marry BB. I don't know who this BB person is. Oh, see that? Yes, GL. Okay, so GL said she has live stream days, evenings, and nights. If you calculate the time change, how does he work? And when are they on FaceTime like 24/7? Right? Like, how are you making money unless trying to recruit people is the way that you make money? Then you could stay up all night talking to different women on Facebook, right? Or Zoom or whatever. So what happened to BB? BB was quiet. Got away. Oh my God, Faith. I'm not reading that. Zelda. Thank you, Voight. That's good. Yeah, I'll put my email address in Taji if you wanna send the screenshots, that's fine. But I don't want to read anything that would be like embarrassing or obscene. Oh, she got bored with BB because he was calm and normal, right? Wasn't all this drama. Okay, Monty. Okay, Monty has the screenshots. Okay. They broke up and Chantal moved in with Pete. So that's been Pete's apartment that they've been living in. Okay, there's my email address. For some reason, it's not showing. There it is. There's my email address. And Chantal, if you want to come on panel one day and have a conversation about all this, I'd be happy to do that. Just send me an email and I'd be happy to do that. And you can ask Kate. I saw that you did a live with Katie the other night, MFW. Katie knows me. You can ask her if I'm legit. Villa had to be in his name to qualify. Well, can I ask a question? Why is she moving into a brand new villa that they have to get approved for if she's planning on getting married and moving to Kuwait? Maybe he is planning on coming here. Room enough is the newbies. This whale went. Oh, I can't say that. I'm not sure she's capable of making a rational decision. I'm concerned for her safety. And that's my biggest thing, Gail. I'm just really, really worried about the outcome. Mango says, absolutely, he is positioning for a sponsorship. She posted again. Where did she post, Ash? I don't think I'm seeing her post. Unless she's in a different chat. I saw her earlier. I saw the first one. Yeah, I don't see anything from Foodie Beauty here. Must be a troll. Mansion came before she met Salah. It's a terrible place, Jamie. Yeah. Does she have it set to members only? I do too, Shalimar. Yep. The guy is buying her trust by saying it's him getting her to move. It will end up being he uses her. Huh. Well, just wait. If they end up in Syria, it's going to be plenty of boring days. Boring, dirty, dusty, smelly days. She sent payment for it before she started talking to him. I don't know. I just hope she's safe. I heard that if you are convicted of a crime, you cannot ask for citizenship in Canada. Oh yeah, but I don't think he can even ask for citizenship until he does the whole sponsor thing, right? Yeah, I think that's what it is, Voight. Yeah. And it's a big commitment financially to sponsor someone. Can you imagine 3 years of taking care of some guy that just tricked you to get in the country? Would be awful. For the new place, we're still not sure if it's a renter's scam. I'm not worried about her safety. He will have her there and bribe marriage first so he could come to Canada. So you're convinced, Mango, that this is going to end up being all about him getting into Canada. And then if that were to happen, Ash, then that would give them reason to come back to Canada and for her to sponsor him, right? Because he had health problems. That's really terrible. Well, anyway, I hope she will just educate herself and be safe. And that's the whole name of the game, right? All right. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for, hanging out with me and, just having a conversation about this because it's so it really on the surface it looks like all the warning signs, there's so many red flags and we all see it, but we're not the ones that are getting love bombed, right? And if she would just go to the immigrant, would there be in 70 known ISIS recruiters living in Kuwait? If he's a recruiter, the Canadian government will know him. Like they'll know his name, they'll know his photograph. And one thing I didn't say, one thing that I didn't talk about was that the name that he's using, El Sultan Salah, that's actually the name of the first Kuwaiti child that was kidnapped by a Kuwaiti businessman. It was a big deal, like in the 70s, maybe, or the 80s. And I thought that was a weird name to pick. Of all the names that you could take, it was a kind of a strange name to take. One that had such significant, such historical significance, right? So, all right, peeps, y'all are awesome. Thank you. I hope you'll subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and hit the thumbs up because I am romancing the YouTube algorithm. And I hope you'll come back even when we're not talking about Chantal. You're always welcome to be here. And you have my email. So if you want to send me something, send away. All right. I really do appreciate. I normally talk about, true crime and mysteries and things, like that. But can we be honest? If somebody scams a Western woman to come to an Islamic nation and become an ISIS bride, then isn't that pretty much, shouldn't that be considered an absolute crime against humanity? Y'all have a good evening.